guys, it's Shadow the Rat, and for today's video I wanted to finally go ahead and announce the release of my 2025 rat photo books, and these will be available on my Etsy shop as usual, and I will have that link down below in the description and comments if you want to look up the shop. It's Rat Paintings. Anyways, I've been doing these books for the last few years. They started as a collaboration with my mom, who was a photographer. And she absolutely adored the rats, and she loved taking pictures with them. And it was kind of a bonding activity we did together. And unfortunately, she passed in 2023. But I feel like these books are a good way to kind of continue her legacy in that way. And I like having a way of just, remembering what she taught me, which is why I include her name, Joy Rosenthal, on the cover of all these books. Anyways, I have this smaller version and this larger version. And they are both hardcover, and they have really nice quality printed images inside. So I'm going to now show you what pictures we have included in this book. And first up, we're starting with a photo of Raisin during one of her molts. And I really wanted to focus on taking pictures of all the different rats varieties in the last year. So I've included a lot of those photos because those are some of my favorites. It's just a lot of fun trying to capture the real hues of the colors and patterns. So those are just kind of a series I've been doing this year and last year. Anyways, then we have Butter, which was one of my little Harley girls. Well, I say one of, but she was my only Harley girl so far. She was a Harley dwarf, and she was super sweet. Then we have another picture of Raisin. This one cracks me up because she had a little bit of a necky molt here, and this was the only time I've ever seen her go nearly fully necky. Then next up we have my beautiful girl Olive. I really like these two photos here as they kind of yin and yang. This, by the way, was my girl Omelette, and she was also in Olive's group. Then next up, oops, I think I skipped something. So next up I have this photo of Popcorn and of Tofu, which are two of my senior girls. And I really like these photos of them on black backgrounds. I think it just looks really cool. Especially with Tofu, but also Popcorns came out pretty well. And I just think they look particularly adorable in these photos. And then next up, we have another Raisin molt, one of my favorites, which is the Y-shaped one. And then this was my girl Tater Tot, and she was a senior dwarf that I had. And she was also super adorable, and as you can tell here, chunky. And then we have another of Omelette. I love this photo of her sticking out her tongue. It's easily one of my favorite photos that we've ever gotten of the rats. And then Pickle, which was actually one of Olive's sisters. Unfortunately, she didn't live super long, but she was a really great rat. Then next up we have this two series of flower photos with Butter. I absolutely love Butter's expression in both of them. Butter always looked like such a cheerful, happy rat, and honestly that was exactly how she was, so I think these are great examples of that. Cinnamon, what are you doing? Next up we have Potato. Potato was a really chunky girl I took in as a senior, and as you can tell, she was definitely a fan of yogurt. Not to worry, we actually did manage to slim her down quite a bit, although unfortunately I got her when she was pretty old, so we didn't quite manage to finish that weight loss journey. Then we had my girl French Fry, who was Tater Tot's sister and also a dwarf. And then we have Banana, who was one of my girls from Second Chance Heroes Rat Rescue. And she was a little bit of a turd at first. She liked to be a little bitey, but she came around quite a bit and was quite a sweet rat. Then we have Toast, of course. I still have Toast. I don't know where she is, but she is really old now. She's over 3 years and 7 months, so she is a very senior rat, but she is doing quite well for her age. Then we have Donut, one of my favorite girls. She was the sister of Olive and Pickle. And she was a really incredible rat. Super fun to train. Easily one of the smartest and just most motivated rats I've had. Stop chewing on the book, Crumb. Then we have Blueberry. Blueberry was the sister of Banana, but she was a little bit more chill than Banana and less likely to chomp you. And now we're getting into some of the more themed photos. So we got Butter with her little cupcake, muffin, and then Blueberry with a muffin. And then we have two of my favorite photos of Raisin and Tofu eating on this little picnic table with just a bunch of treats. And look at their cute little expressions. Oh my gosh, they are so adorable. Then we have Blueberry with Blueberries, which I think is very thematic. I did do a series of rat photos with rats and their foods. And then Toast with Toast, but she gave me this amazing photo of her grooming, which makes her look absolutely pissed that I dared to take a photo of her with a piece of toast. I really like that because I think that captures her personality pretty well. Then we have Tofu with this little mini burger and fries chew set, and I thought this was so funny. This is a photo of her shaking her head, but it actually came out clear, and she looks hilarious in this one. And then Tofu with a fan, which I just think is super cute as well because, you know, she's naked, so modesty. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Carrot. Poor Carrot was trying to go under the book. Then we have Popcorn, first of all, with this little mailbox that says, I love you. And then this one with the shopping cart, which is one of my favorites because look at her little tongue. That is a great expression. Then we have two more of Butter with the flowers, and these were taken on a dark background, which I really like. Then we have Toast and Tofu, both posing with some fake flowers. Toast's expression here is just so freaking adorable to me, and she always gives photos like this, so I wanted to include a few because she's just so cute in them. And then we have Tofu here doing her classic creature pose, which I think is so funny on a hairless rat. Then we have Toast and Popcorn. As you can see, again, Toast is doing her classic little cute face. Popcorn looks a little less enthused. And then we have Popcorn and Butter, and Popcorn's face here just cracks me up because she was looking younger and she looks so silly. Then we have Tofu hiding behind the fan, easily one of my favorite photos of her because, again, she's necky. And then Popcorn with some flowers, again, fake flowers, but I think she looks super cute next to the orange flowers. Then we have Butter with her little mailbox, which I think is, again, super adorable. And then Raisin with a little bee mine, which is also, I think, super cute. Then we have my favorite Butter with flowers photo, which is Butter with a little paw on these fake sunflowers and little smirking expression, which is so cute. And then Popcorn giving paw. Then Tater Tot with some tater tots and Raisin with some raisins. Then we got the Yogi picture, which yogis I do not believe exist anymore, but this was when I used my last bag to do a photo shoot. And Toast liked them quite a bit. Popcorn wasn't quite so sure. And then we have Tofu with Tofu and Popcorn with Popcorn. Then we have Butter with Butter, and then Butter with this little wooden frog instrument that you kind of stroke its spine. It makes like a different noise, different tone at each spine. And then we have Tater Tot with the tape measure. And then you have Toast with Toast actually looking happy, unlike Grumpy Toast from before. Then we have two of the shell photos I did. I did another series with the rats and shells. And this was Popcorn with her shell, and then Tater Tot with her shell. And then there's two more of Tofu, this time grooming. I love doing photos of the rats grooming, but especially the ones that are hairless or mostly hairless because you really get to see the wrinkles. And then we have a photo of Butter with this welcome friend sign and Miss Raisin with her hilarious eyebrow molt. And then Tater Tot here with the same two chews as Tofu was with before. And then we have Popcorn with some nesting dolls. And finally, Miss Tater Tot on her chair. So that is this year's photo book. Of course, we also have this photo on the front of Tofu. You'll notice I don't have the new girls in it. That's just because I am using the photos from last year and the final photos from the year before. So I usually take a compilation of photos from the last year and then again part of the year before if I have any left from that I want to use. And so because of that, I tend to be a year or so behind in terms of what my current rat group is. But my new girls will show up in next year's book. So that's just kind of how it always is. But I think it's kind of cool to see photos of the old girls as well. So I don't think it's a problem of any sort. Hopefully you guys agree with that. But yeah, I think it looks very nice and I hope you guys agree. And like I said, if you'd like to order one of these photo books for yourself, you can go to my Etsy page called Rat Paintings, and I will have that link down below in the description and comments. But yeah, that is pretty much it for now. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!